Hey, so today we are going to talk about one of my all-time favorite topics, which is goal setting. I know that sounds kind of lame, but I could literally be thrown on stage tomorrow and talk about it with no preparation because I love all things goal setting. But if I thought I loved it before, I love it even more now that I've learned NLP. If you're new to NLP, NLP stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming, and it is a pseudoscientific approach to communication and personal development that was developed back by Richard Bandler and John Grinder, which I love so much. I actually certify about it inside of the Elevate method. I certify on it, so you can become a certified neuro-linguistic programming practitioner inside the Elevate method. But essentially, it's all about the programs and the patterns of our mind. It's the way in which we interpret the world around us and our own experiences. And when you learn about NLP, you can take your life and your success to the next level because you get to own and step into your power. And so one of the things we're going to talk about super briefly as a high level overview is goal setting with NLP. So if you've ever talked about goal setting, a really interesting fact that I learned early on is that somewhere between January 17th and January 19th is titled National Quitters Day. And this is the day where most people throw in the proverbial towel with their goals, not because they're a failure, not because they don't want good things, but because they don't have the right systems and strategies in place and the right beliefs in place. And so they put themselves in a position where they struggle with actually accomplishing their goals. And so I love, love, love goal setting once I learned the process to circumvent that so that I did not become one of those people that fell victim to National Quitters Day. And I don't want you to either. And so after today, you're going to have that same strategy and approach to your goals, and it's going to transform your life. One of my favorite quotes is by Tony Robbins, and it says, setting goals is the first step in turning the invisible into the visible. And I love that so much because that's exactly it. I don't believe that God puts visions, desires, and dreams, hopes, and aspirations into our heart in vain. I believe that our desires are a safe form of guidance showing us what's available for us, right? I always say, I tell my clients all the time, if it's desired by you, it's available to you. And now I'm going to show you how to make it possible. All right. So we've all heard of SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So these are goals. When we're setting goals, we want to make sure that they fall in these categories. We want to make sure they're specific. We want to make sure we can measure them. We want to make sure they're actually within our reach. Like, you can't set a goal to say that you want to get your license and you're 14 years old, right? You can't say I'm going to get my license in 6 months if you can't get your license until you're 16. So that's what attainable means. Relevant, is it important to you? And is it time-based? Now, I definitely still set SMART goals in this way, but what I have done is I have added in the NLP version of SMART goals in addition to that, all right? And so I want you, as we start talking through the process of setting NLP goals, NLP SMART goals, I want you to think of a goal that you have in mind, right? A goal that is really important to you, a goal that you want to accomplish. Maybe it's this year, maybe it's in the next couple of months, maybe it's in the next week. I want you to really be specific about it, okay? And I want you to think about this goal in the sense of like a SMART goal. Once you've really perfected that, then you move through the NLP part of it to really tweak and make it apply. So is the goal that you have in mind specific? Okay. So you don't want to say something like, I hope I can lose weight. How much weight do you want to lose? When do you want to lose the weight? Right. Getting really specific about it and being able to measure it too is important. Because if I get clients that'll say, I want to be successful. Okay, but how do we measure success? What does that look like? Does that mean that you have 5 clients a month? Does that look like you have 5 clients a week? Does that mean that looks like you have a 5K week? Like, what does that mean? So being able to really measure it. Is it attainable, right? You can't say that you want to sell 100, new programs, new tripwires, but you've never sold one and you haven't even finished making it, right? Let's make it attainable and let's move our way up to that. Relevant, why is this important to you? The truth is, if we set goals because someone else told us we need to, I've been there, right? If we set goals because someone else told us we need to, it's not going to be important to us, okay? You want to set goals that are relevant and important to you. I set a goal once that I was going to give up dairy. It wasn't relevant to me. Someone just told me dairy was unhealthy. I'm like, it ain't affecting me. My daughter was born with a slight intolerance for it, and it changed my entire cooking regimen, right? It became relevant to me then. I bought into it, and I made it a priority. And then you want to make it time-based. So a SMART goal, a traditional SMART goal may look like, I want to lose 25 pounds by the end, in the next 3 months, so that I can fit into the bridesmaid's dress for my sister's wedding, right? Specific, you know exactly what you want to do, lose weight. Measurable, 25 pounds. Attainable, Yeah, it's possible. Maybe you have a gym membership. Maybe you have a personal trainer. Maybe you've changed your diet. Relevant to you because your sister's getting married and you want to look good in those pictures, right? It's important to you to be your sister's maid of honor or whatever. Time-based in the next 3 months. Okay. So that's just an example of what that goal may be. When we move in, I know you guys know that NLP Smart Goals, what you want to do is you want to take it to the next level, because what we're really weaving in is the science behind the way your subconscious mind works. Okay. So NLP Smart Goals stand for S, see yourself; M, meaningful to you; A, all areas of your life; R, responsible or ecological, is it safe for you and everyone around you; and T, toward motivated. So let's break it down. When you're setting a goal using this SMART goal NLP acronym, you want to ask yourself, can you see yourself in it? And the reason that this is really powerful is because visualization is probably one of the most underutilized resources that we have access to. But if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your reality. So when my clients come to me and they express a goal that they want to accomplish, I always say, do you see yourself in it? And what I do is I bring in all of their senses with it. So if you see yourself accomplishing this goal, what does it look like when you lose that weight? What do you hear people saying? What does it feel like when you slide on that bridesmaid's dress, right? Really being able to envision what that is, okay, and bringing in all of your senses, because your subconscious mind, cool fact, doesn't know the difference between reality and your imagination, and it doesn't want to make you out to be a liar. So when you tell your subconscious mind that you've accomplished something, it automatically goes to task for you to figure out how to bring it to fruition. So when you visualize, you're training your mind to magnetize to exactly what it is you want, all right? So do you see yourself in this picture with what it is that you want to accomplish, okay? The next thing, is it meaningful to you? Again, that goes back to like when we talk about the SMART goals of relevant, right? Is it relevant? Is it meaningful to you? It is so important for your goal to be meaningful to you, because if it's not meaningful to you, you're not going to have a strong why, and you're not going to have that motivation to see through to the how. Let me give you an example. When I first started writing my book, it was meaningful to me because I wanted to leave a legacy for my daughters. So I had no idea how I was going to afford an editor or, a cover designer. I had no idea how I was going to find time to write. But the goal was so meaningful for me that I made room to figure out the how. I woke up early. I started to save. I was really intentional about my spending. I practiced writing. I practiced reading, which informed my writing. Like, I was very intentional because the goal was meaningful to me. And so I'm a firm believer that when you have a strong why behind your goal, and it's meaningful to you, you have the momentum to see the goal through. Because here's the thing, if you wait for motivation, you're going to have a lot of it in the beginning and then it'll start to wane. But what's really cool about having a powerful why, AKA making the goal meaningful to you, it's going to continue to renew that so that you can continue to see the goal through. So when you think about this goal that I asked you to keep in the forefront of your mind, I want you to think about why it's meaningful to you. Why is it important to you? What is your why? What are you holding on to with this goal? All right. The next thing is all areas of your life. So what you want to think about is what I call domino goals. What are those goals that will impact all areas of your life? So for example, we use that weight loss goal. Maybe it impacts your relationship because you feel like you're safe to be vulnerable with your husband or intimate with your husband. Maybe it attracts it increases your confidence. So you show up in your business more confident when you lose that weight. Maybe it improves your relationship with your kids because you're able to, run through the park and go down the slides with them without feeling exhausted or depressed or embarrassed with what you have on. Maybe you take a family vacation and that really hits like a personal travel goal of yours because you haven't gone in a while because you didn't like the way that you looked in a swimsuit, right? How does this impact all areas of your life? And for me, if I set a goal that doesn't really kind of spill over into other areas of my life, I start to consider what should I set instead? Because what I find is that, at New Year's, when I'm talking to people, is they set multiple goals. They set a weight loss goal, they set a finance goal, they set a relationship goal, they set all these goals, and then they throw in that proverbial towel before they even begin. Because they're like, I don't know, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, or I want all these different things. I want all these different areas. But if you set one really strong goal that carries over, you're going to notice your life improve in all of these other areas just because. And it's so beautiful to be able to witness, okay? So start to think about how that goal applies to all areas of your life, okay? And if it doesn't, consider how it may. And if it doesn't, maybe go back and kind of tweak it accordingly. The next letter is R for responsible. Is this a responsible goal, right? Is it ecological for you? So, this is like an extreme example, but if you say something like, I have a goal to tell my boss off by the end of the year, is that really ecological? Is that really responsible? Is that really the right thing to do? right? When we're setting goals, we want to make sure that our goals not only serve us, but also serve the collective, because your purpose and what you're feeling drawn to or called to is so much greater than you, okay? And when you consider the responsibility or the ecological aspect of it, you're going to set goals that make it a no-brainer to get, because you realize like, oh my gosh, it's so important. You know, I remember writing my very first book. I originally was like, I'm going to write an ebook. But then the further I dug into it, I'm like, man, if the women at my church can benefit from this, there's so many other women across the world that can benefit from it. So I was thinking from that standpoint of like, who else could benefit, because it became bigger than me. And that also gave me a draw to show up in a bigger way. All right. And then the last letter is toward motivated. Okay. So toward motivated, let me explain that. When we set a goal, let's say the goal is in the middle. Okay. We are either away motivated, meaning we're trying to run away from something to accomplish our goal, or we're moving towards something to accomplish our goal. So if you say, for example, I want to get out of my soul-sucking 9 to 5, you're away motivated. You're running away from this 9 to 5 that you hate so bad, okay? And what ends up happening is what you focus on is what you find. So the more you focus on how this job is sucking the life out of you, the more you're going to stay in a position where you're having things happen that are sucking the life out of you. You're bitter, you're angry, you're frustrated with that 9 to 5. If on the flip side, you're like, I really want to create a soul-aligned business that changes people's lives, where I can coach and create amazing transformations with my clients. Now you're toward motivated. You're moving toward what you want. And the way our subconscious mind works is what we focus on is what we find. So we want to focus on the things that we want. We want to think about the things that we want. So for example, if I tell you right now, don't think of a purple elephant, what's going to be the first thing that pops up? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? A purple elephant, right? Don't think of a green tree. What came up, right? Because when we're saying don't do it, we're thinking of it. We still are going to think about it, okay? So this is the reason why you have to not only write what your goals are, but consider what your goals are in a toward motivated fashion. What is it that you want to move toward? Not what is it that you're moving away from? Right? Okay. Really think about that. What is it that you're moving toward? Not what is it that you're moving away from? Okay. Very important to understand the difference. So as you think about your goals, I want you to consider, are you able to see yourself in it? Is it a meaningful goal to you? Does it apply to all areas of your life? Are you being responsible and ecological with it? And are you toward motivated? Okay. If you're setting a goal that doesn't accomplish this, my challenge to you is to tweak it, okay? Really, really tweak it. What is your big goal? What is that big goal that you have in mind? What is it that you want to accomplish, okay? And then I want you to consider how it applies to all these different areas, all right? When we're setting goals, we no longer can just focus on it being smart, like being specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. We need to add in these different layers to make sure that we are having our subconscious mind, which is the most powerful resource that you have access to, go to task for us so that we can actually accomplish it, okay? So think about your big goal. I want you to think about how you can make it smart using the NLP format, and watch how things begin to shift and change for you, because you committed to setting a goal in a way that has never been seen before, never been heard before, and you're going to notice things begin to transform and change, and it's going to be so beautiful. So I'm going to let you go so that you can set your big goal. I'm so excited to see what you'll create.